Hey guys, and in today's sewing tutorial I'm going to show you how to sew Christmas elf slippers for infants, toddlers, and children. Backed by popular demand because so many people have been asking me for kid size elf slippers, and here they are. They are so cute and you can customize them with any fabric that you choose. So my patterns are from sizes 0 to 6 months to 6 to 8 years. And for this one here, I love this print. So I decided to use a felt on the inside for the lining and a canvas on the bottom. How adorable with these tiny jingle bells. And this one here, for the top detail here, instead of using fabric, I used felt. It was even easier. Go ahead and click the link in the description of this video for access to the online course to download this pattern. And the best way to know which size is right for your child is to put his or her foot right on the printout. You'll have access to all the sizes: 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 12 to 18 months, 18 to 24 months, 2 to 4 years old, 4 to 6 years old, and of course 6 to 8 years old. Your 3 pattern pieces cut out, the slipper body, the trim, and the sole, we can get started. So I'm going to use a canvas for the shoe, and for the trim, this polka dot, and for the sole, another canvas that's kind of like beige or tan in color. So the first thing I want to do is I want to fuse my fusible fleece onto the body of the shoe and onto the sole. I'm doubling up because I want it to be a little bit thicker so it's softer when I walk and wear it. I hope you're enjoying my tutorial. Can you believe that less than 10% of the viewers watching my videos and downloading my free patterns actually subscribe? I'm really trying to build a positive making community, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. Thanks. Fused, we are ready to cut out the paper pattern. So I'm making one slipper here. You will double it, do it twice to make both of your slippers. So I'm always going to cut on the wrong side, pin and cut. And for the body, so I'll pin there, cut that. And for the body, you're going to do one this way and then one this way. If your fabric is not too thick, you can also fold it. I think mine's a little too thick for me to cut, and do it this way. So, because mine's a little thick, I'm going to do it this way. The slipper body and the sole cutout, we're going to move on to the trim. So for my trim, I'm just using a plain cotton that's printed, and what I'll do is fold it in half, right sides together, and I'll lay the pattern right on top, pin it, and cut it out. Do is sew together the slipper pieces. So my 2 red pieces are right sides together, and I'm going to actually clip them together. And once they are all clipped together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to be using black thread just so that you can see my sewing line. And I'm going to sew down the side here following the curves, and I'm going to stop, so I'll backstitch on the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to start sewing from this point and go all the way around this curve and come down to here and backstitch. So I'm leaving the top open and the bottom here where the sole goes open. This is sewn together. My next step is to add the sole. So the wider part as you can see on the sole, goes to the front of the toe there, and make sure the right side is touching the right side there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip it right into place. I didn't add notches because I didn't want you cutting or doing anything like that there. I'll actually clip it just in case it would take away and you would have a little snip there. So we're just going to eye it on, and it is a loose fitting slipper, so it's fine. It's not a perfectly fitting shoe. That's why I didn't give you any snip marks there. And you just press it down to fit. And here too, if it seems too big, it's not, just press it in, because it is like a bootie. I call it a slipper, but it is kind of like a bootie. And it is loose fitting. And now, as you've guessed, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the sewing machine and you're going to sew all the way around, or if it's easier for you this way on your machine, all the way around about 1/4 of an inch seam and sew it on. It's sewn on. What you're going to do is you're going to turn it right side out. And as you're turning it right side out, you may want to have some sort of turning instrument or tool, and I just use a simple chopstick to actually push out the point. And look at how great that looks. You can use your fingers, or you can just grab your chopstick. I always need the help of my chopstick to help push out the point. Sometimes I stick it in through the front there and I kind of pop it out this way. And just work at it. Mine is a canvas, so it does feel like it pulls against each other, but it does come out eventually. Your slipper turned right side out. The next thing to do is to sew the trim. So the trim I have facing right sides together, and I pinned it together, and what I'm going to do is sew along this edge, back stitching on the ends, and then I'm going to leave this open and I'm going to sew here following the little triangles ending here. So I'm leaving these two ends here open. I've sewn this together. I started snipping off the points here so that they turn much better when we turn this right side out. And on these little peaks here, I am just snipping really close to the seam so that they turn much neater without tugging. Okay, and from here, what you're going to do is you're going to turn this right side out from either end. Again, I'm going to be using my chopstick when I need it. Turn it right side out. I'm going to give it a press so that it lays flat and will look much better on the actual slipper. So on one end, what I'm going to do is just turn it in a bit. Just fold it in and press it. And I'll show you why when we get this onto the shoe or slipper or whatever you want to call it. So now this is ready to go. What you're going to do is you're going to find the center. So you could just fold it and give it a quick finger crease. And that center there will go right onto this seam here in the front. And I'm going to clip it down. But what I'm going to do first is fold it over just a bit. Just like that, so you cover the unfinished edge of the shoe, and that takes care of that. So I'm going to keep folding it over and going around. And then on this side. And then this edge will feed into the cleaner edge. Just like that. And then you're going to sew it right into place. So I'm going to fold it over. Sometimes I go in and I give it a little hand tack with a sewing needle, and I finish it off that way. And now I'm going to bring it over to the sewing machine, and with green thread this time, because I don't want it to show, I'm just going to sew all the way around. We are almost there. Of course, you can call your slipper finished right here, but I want to add jingle bells all around these points here. And if you want, you can even add something here. I like to leave it just as is because it just shows off more, and I love that. So what I'm going to do now with my needle of button thread is I'm going to add these really noisy jingle bells. I love these because they just make an extra amount of noise. Love, love, love. Who knows, maybe as I'm wearing them, I will get annoyed and actually take them off. Let's see. And I will attach them on just with my needle and thread, and I'll give them a few tacks this way. And I got 5 more to go. And that's it. That's how you make your very own custom Christmas elf slippers. How easy was that? As you can see, I put together a larger size slipper right there in my sewing tutorial, but it doesn't matter what size you make. The steps are all the same. Anyway, if you really enjoyed this Christmas elf slipper sewing tutorial, go ahead and check out my other Christmas tutorials right up here on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.